Most people spend their lives searching for comfort. They want a comfortable job, a comfortable schedule, comfortable relationships, and comfortable routines. At first, that sounds reasonable. After all, who doesn't enjoy feeling safe? But here's the interesting part. The very thing that makes you feel comfortable today can quietly become the thing that keeps you exactly where you are tomorrow. Comfort has a strange way of convincing you that you've done enough. It whispers, take it easy. You can start tomorrow. You've earned a break. Day after day, those whispers become habits, and before long, years have passed without much change. The truth is, growth has never lived inside the comfort zone. Every improvement you've ever made in your life began with a decision to do something that felt unfamiliar. Think about it. The first day you learned a new skill, you struggled. The first day you started exercising, your body complained. The first time you stood in front of people to speak, your heart raced. Yet every one of those uncomfortable moments carried the seed of a better future. Life has a remarkable way of rewarding those who are willing to be uncomfortable for a little while. It doesn't ask you to become extraordinary overnight. It simply asks you to take one more step than you took yesterday. That's how progress works. It isn't dramatic most of the time. It's quiet. It's consistent. It's often invisible until one day you look back and realize you've become someone stronger than the person you used to be. You don't become confident before you act. You become confident because you acted. That's an important distinction. Too many people wait until they feel ready. They wait for motivation, for certainty, for the perfect opportunity. But life rarely offers perfect conditions. It rewards movement. It rewards courage. It rewards the person who decides to move forward despite uncertainty. Imagine if every morning you asked yourself one simple question. What can I do today that challenges me just a little? Not something impossible, not something reckless. Just one thing that stretches your limits. Maybe it's waking up 30 minutes earlier. Maybe it's reading instead of scrolling through your phone. Maybe it's making that difficult phone call you've been avoiding. Maybe it's learning a new skill, speaking up in a meeting, or simply keeping a promise you've made to yourself. Small challenges may seem insignificant in the moment, but they slowly transform your identity. You see, success isn't built on giant leaps. It's built on daily decisions. Every challenge you accept teaches your mind a valuable lesson. I can do hard things. And once your mind begins to believe that, something powerful happens. You stop seeing obstacles as reasons to quit. You begin seeing them as opportunities to grow. That's a completely different way of living. One of the greatest mistakes people make is comparing themselves with everyone else. They look at someone who's been working for 10 years and feel discouraged because they're only getting started. That's an unfair comparison. The only person you truly need to compete with is the person you were yesterday. If you know a little more today, if you're a little stronger today, if you've shown a little more discipline today, then you're winning. Progress isn't about perfection. It's about direction. There will be days when you stumble. There will be mornings when you don't feel like getting out of bed. There will be moments when fear tells you to stay exactly where you are. Don't let those moments define you. Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to move forward while fear is still standing beside you. Every challenge you overcome expands your capacity for the next one. What once seemed impossible eventually becomes routine. The weight that once felt unbearable becomes your warm-up. The conversation you once feared becomes easy. The goals that once intimidated you become milestones you've already passed. That's the magic of consistent growth. You don't notice it from one day to the next, but over time it completely changes your life. And here's something worth remembering. The world doesn't reward potential nearly as much as it rewards action. You may have incredible talent, brilliant ideas, and big dreams, but unless you're willing to challenge yourself daily, those gifts remain hidden. Potential is only possibility. Action is what turns possibility into reality. So don't ask life to become easier. Ask yourself to become stronger. Don't hope for fewer obstacles. Build greater determination. Welcome the small discomforts that push you toward the person you're capable of becoming. Every day gives you a choice. Stay where you are or become a little better than you were yesterday. Choose the challenge because that's where your future is waiting. Challenge yourself today, and tomorrow you'll meet a stronger version of yourself. Now, once you've made the decision to step outside your comfort zone, the next question becomes, how do I keep growing? The answer surprises many people because it isn't found in one massive breakthrough. It isn't one perfect opportunity, one lucky moment, or one extraordinary effort. Real transformation happens through the small challenges you choose every single day. That's where lives are changed, not in dramatic moments that happens once in a lifetime, but in ordinary moments that happen every morning. People often overestimate what they can accomplish in a week and underestimate what they can accomplish in a year. They become excited about making a huge change, but they lose interest when they realize success is built one day at a time. They want immediate results, and when those results don't appear quickly enough, they assume nothing is happening. But that's not how growth works. Growth is much like planting a seed. You don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You water it, protect it, and trust that something is happening beneath the surface. Your habits are those daily drops of water. Every small challenge you complete is another investment in your future. Reading 10 pages may not seem life-changing today, but do it every day for a year, and you'll have absorbed ideas that most people never take the time to learn. Walking for 30 minutes may not transform your health overnight, but repeat it consistently, and your body begins to change. Saving a small amount of money each week may seem insignificant, but over time it creates security and freedom. Small actions may appear ordinary, but when repeated consistently, they produce extraordinary outcomes. That's why discipline is so valuable. Discipline allows you to continue after excitement disappears. Motivation comes and goes. Some mornings you'll wake up feeling unstoppable. Other mornings you'll wonder why you started at all. If you depend only on motivation, you'll have an inconsistent life. But if you depend on disciplined habits, you'll keep moving whether you feel inspired or not. The successful person doesn't always feel like working. They simply understand that feelings are temporary, while results are lasting. They know that every time they honor a commitment to themselves, they strengthen their character. Every promise kept builds self-respect. Every promise broken weakens it. That's why the little victories matter so much. They teach you that you can trust yourself. Think about a bricklayer building a house. No one walks past on the first day and says, "What an incredible home." They see only a few bricks. The second day brings a few more. Weeks later, it still doesn't look impressive. But eventually, those individual bricks become walls, then rooms, then a beautiful home. Your life works exactly the same way. Every disciplined action is another brick. Skip enough bricks, and the structure becomes weak. Lay them consistently, and one day you'll be standing inside a life you intentionally built. Many people fail because they're searching for shortcuts. They ask, "What's the fastest way?" instead of asking, "What's the right way?" The right way is usually simple, but it requires patience. It's easier to watch videos about success than to practice successful habits. It's easier to make plans than to follow through on them. It's easier to dream than to work. But easy choices create difficult lives, while difficult choices create easier lives in the future. Here's another lesson worth remembering. Never underestimate the power of improving by just 1% each day. 1% seems almost meaningless. You won't notice the difference when you wake up tomorrow. But after weeks, months, and years of steady improvement, that 1% compounds into remarkable growth. Suddenly you're healthier, wiser, more disciplined, more confident, and more capable, not because of one giant leap, but because you refuse to stop taking small steps. And don't be discouraged if no one notices your progress at first. The roots of a mighty tree grow deep before the branches reach the sky. Most meaningful progress happens in private. While others are sleeping, you're learning. While others are making excuses, you're practicing. While others are waiting for the perfect moment, you're quietly becoming the person who will recognize opportunity when it arrives. The applause comes later. The preparation comes first. There will be days when your efforts seem invisible. You'll wonder if your routine is making any difference. Those are the days that matter most. Because consistency isn't tested when you're excited. It's tested when you're tired, when you're busy, when results are slow, and when nobody is watching. That's when character is formed. That's when your future is quietly being shaped. Remember, greatness isn't reserved for people with extraordinary talent. More often, it belongs to those with extraordinary consistency. The person who keeps showing up, keeps learning, keeps improving, and keeps challenging themselves eventually separates from the crowd. Not because they were born different, but because they made different decisions every single day. So don't wait for the perfect opportunity to change your life. Create it through the small choices you make today. One disciplined action may seem insignificant, but repeated day after day, it becomes the foundation of a remarkable future. Small daily challenges, repeated with unwavering consistency, create extraordinary lives. As you continue building yourself through small daily challenges, you'll eventually meet an opponent that is far more difficult than any obstacle on the outside. It isn't your competition. It isn't your circumstances. It isn't a lack of opportunity. It's the voice inside your own mind that constantly offers excuses. That voice is clever. It doesn't usually sound negative. It sounds reasonable. It tells you you're tired today. You can start tomorrow. It says now isn't the right time. It whispers, wait until you have more money, more experience, more confidence. Before long, those reasonable excuses become permanent habits, and habits determine the direction of your life. You see, excuses are dangerous because they make us comfortable with staying exactly where we are. They give us permission to avoid responsibility while convincing us that we're still serious about our dreams. That's the trick. An excuse doesn't usually sound like surrender. It sounds like a delay. But enough delays eventually become a lifetime of missed opportunities. Every person has challenges. Some have financial struggles. Others face health problems, rejection, criticism, disappointment, or failure. No one escapes difficulty. The difference is that successful people don't spend their energy explaining why something can't be done. They spend that same energy asking, what can I do with what I have? That simple shift changes everything. Responsibility gives you power. Excuses give your power away. Think about how often people blame circumstances. They blame their past, their education, the economy, their family, their age, or their lack of connections. While some of those obstacles are real, blaming them doesn't move life forward. Blame may explain your current situation, but it will never improve it. The moment you accept responsibility, even for the parts that aren't entirely your fault, you begin to regain control over your future. One of the greatest questions you can ask yourself is this: what excuse have I repeated so often that I've started believing it? Maybe you've convinced yourself that you're too old to begin again. Maybe you think you're too young to be taken seriously. Perhaps you've decided you're not naturally talented enough. Or maybe you've told yourself that successful people simply had better opportunities. Whatever story you've been repeating, remember this: if you repeat a lie long enough, it begins to feel like the truth. But feelings don't determine reality. Your decisions do. Here's something worth remembering. Fear often disguises itself as logic. Instead of admitting we're afraid, we say we're waiting for better timing. Instead of admitting we're uncertain, we claim we're still preparing. Preparation is valuable, but endless preparation without action becomes another excuse. There comes a point when you know enough. From that point forward, growth comes through doing, not thinking. The interesting thing about action is that it has a way of destroying excuses. Once you take the first step, many of the fears that looked enormous suddenly begin to shrink. The conversation you dreaded becomes manageable. The project you kept postponing starts gaining momentum. The business idea that seemed overwhelming begins to take shape one task at a time. Action has a remarkable ability to replace imagination with experience. Don't wait until you feel confident. Confidence isn't the starting point, it's the reward for consistent action. Every successful person you've ever admired was uncertain at the beginning. They had doubts, they made mistakes, they experienced setbacks. What separated them wasn't the absence of fear, it was the refusal to let fear make their decisions. You also need to be careful about the people you listen to. There will always be individuals who encourage your excuses because they need someone to justify their own. They'll tell you your goals are unrealistic. They'll remind you how difficult life is. They'll explain why most people fail. Listen politely if you must, but don't adopt their limitations as your own. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to become better, not people who make you comfortable with becoming less. Every day presents a simple choice. You can find a reason why you can't, or you can find a reason why you must. Both require imagination, both require belief. The only difference is where they lead you. One path ends with regret because you spent your life explaining. The other ends with fulfillment because you spent your life acting. From this day forward, make a new commitment to yourself. Every time an excuse enters your mind, answer it with one small action. If you don't feel like exercising, take a short walk. If you don't feel like reading, read a single page. If you're afraid to make the call, dial the number anyway. Small acts of courage silence excuses far more effectively than endless debates inside your head. Remember, your future doesn't care about the excuses you can justify. It responds only to the actions you're willing to take. The life you want isn't waiting on perfect conditions. It's waiting on your decision to move despite imperfect ones. Excuses keep you where you are. Action takes you where you're meant to be. Once you've stopped letting excuses control your decisions, you begin to discover something remarkable about yourself. You realize that you're capable of far more than you ever imagined. But reaching that next level requires something deeper than motivation and stronger than talent. It requires mental toughness. This is the quality that allows a person to keep moving when life becomes uncomfortable, uncertain, or difficult. And the truth is, mental toughness isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, one difficult choice at a time. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid difficulty. They look for the easiest path, the quickest shortcut, or the least demanding option. But every time you avoid something difficult, you also avoid the opportunity to become stronger. Think about how muscles grow. They don't grow through comfort. They grow because they're challenged. They resist pressure, they recover, and they come back stronger than before. Your mind works exactly the same way. Every challenge you willingly accept strengthens your ability to face the next one. That's why you should never fear difficult moments. Welcome them. They're not interruptions to your journey. They are your journey. Every setback carries a lesson. Every obstacle reveals something about your character. Every disappointment gives you an opportunity to respond with maturity instead of frustration. The question isn't whether life will test you. It will. The question is whether those tests will make you bitter or better. One of the greatest habits you can develop is choosing difficult things before life forces them upon you. Wake up a little earlier than necessary. Finish the task even when no one is checking your progress. Read books that challenge your thinking. Learn skills that require patience. Have the difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Keep your promises even when they're inconvenient. These voluntary acts of discipline prepare you for the unavoidable challenges that life eventually brings. You see, when you've practiced doing hard things by choice, you're far less likely to fall apart when hard things happen by circumstance. A person who has trained their mind to embrace discomfort doesn't panic when obstacles appear. Instead, they think, I've handled difficult situations before, I'll handle this one too. That's confidence built on experience, not on empty words. There will be seasons when nothing seems to go your way. You'll work hard without immediate results. You'll give your best and still face criticism. You'll experience rejection, disappointment, and moments when quitting seems like the easiest option. Those are the moments that define your future. Anyone can stay committed when everything is going well. The true test of character comes when success is delayed, when progress is slow, and when nobody is applauding your effort. Remember this. Pressure doesn't create character. It reveals it. When life becomes difficult, your habits become visible. If you've built discipline, you'll continue moving forward. If you've built excuses, they'll become even stronger. That's why the choices you make on ordinary days matter so much. You're preparing yourself for extraordinary challenges that haven't even arrived yet. It's also important to understand that mental toughness isn't about pretending you never feel fear or discouragement. You'll feel both. You'll have days when you're tired, uncertain, and frustrated. The difference is that mentally strong people don't allow temporary emotions to make permanent decisions. They acknowledge how they feel, but they continue doing what needs to be done. Feelings change. Principles remain. Think about the people you admire most. Chances are, it isn't because they had an easy life. It's because they endured difficult seasons without allowing those seasons to define them. They kept learning after failure. They kept believing after disappointment. They kept showing up after rejection. Their strength wasn't built in moments of victory. It was built in moments when giving up would have been understandable, but they refused to surrender. Every challenge you face leaves one of two marks on your life. It either becomes an excuse for staying the same, or it becomes evidence that you're becoming stronger. The choice is always yours. You can complain about the weight, or you can let the weight develop your strength. You can resent the storm, or you can learn how to navigate through it. The challenge itself isn't your greatest problem. Your response to it determines the outcome. So begin looking at difficulties differently. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? That single question changes your perspective. Suddenly, setbacks become classrooms. Failures become feedback. Delays become preparation. Every obstacle becomes another opportunity to sharpen your mind, strengthen your character, and increase your capacity for success. As you continue challenging yourself every day, you'll notice something powerful. The things that once intimidated you will no longer have the same hold over you. The difficult conversations become easier. The impossible goals become achievable. The fears that once controlled your actions begin to lose their influence. Not because life became easier, but because you became stronger. Never run from difficulty, because every difficult step is quietly building the person your future requires. Choose the hard path today, and tomorrow you'll walk it with unshakable strength. After you've learned to step outside your comfort zone, built the habit of embracing small daily challenges, refused to let excuses control your future, and strengthened your mind by choosing difficult things, something extraordinary begins to happen. You stop measuring your life by what everyone else is doing. You begin to understand that the most meaningful competition isn't happening between you and another person. It's happening between the person you were yesterday and the person you're becoming today. Too many people spend their lives looking sideways. They compare their income, their success, their appearance, their opportunities, and even their happiness with someone else's. Comparison has become one of the greatest distractions from personal growth. It steals your gratitude, weakens your confidence, and shifts your focus away from the only life you truly have control over, your own. Think about it for a moment. There will always be someone who has more than you and someone who has less. There will always be someone who learns faster, earns more, or reaches a goal before you do. If your happiness depends on being ahead of everyone else, you'll never find peace because the race never ends. But when your goal becomes improving yourself one day at a time, you enter a competition you can actually win. Success isn't about becoming better than another person. It's about becoming a better version of yourself. Ask yourself this question every evening. Am I wiser today than I was yesterday? Did I keep the promises I made to myself? Did I grow, even if only a little? Those are the questions that build an extraordinary life because they keep your attention on progress instead of comparison. The beautiful thing about personal growth is that small improvements never stay small. Every new habit changes the way you see yourself. Every disciplined decision strengthens your identity. Every challenge you overcome expands your confidence. Before long, you're no longer forcing yourself to become disciplined. You've become a disciplined person. That's an important difference. Your actions eventually shape your identity, and your identity begins to shape your future. Don't underestimate the power of raising your personal standards. Standards determine behavior. If your standard is to do only what's easy, your life will remain ordinary. But if your standard becomes giving your best regardless of how you feel, everything begins to change. You arrive on time. You finish what you start. You prepare when others procrastinate. You stay honest when shortcuts seem tempting. You continue learning long after others believe they know enough. The world notices people who consistently hold themselves to a higher standard, not because they're perfect, but because they're dependable. People trust those who keep their word. Opportunities find those who prepare themselves. Respect follows those who respect their own commitments. And none of that happens by accident. It happens because someone decided that excellence would become a habit instead of an occasional event. There will be moments when progress feels slow. You may wonder if all the effort is worth it. During those seasons, remember that transformation is often invisible before it becomes obvious. A sculptor doesn't create a masterpiece with one strike of the hammer. Thousands of careful blows shape the stone until everyone suddenly sees the beauty that was hidden inside all along. Your life works the same way. Every disciplined decision is another strike. Every challenge accepted is another step toward revealing the person you're capable of becoming. Never become satisfied with yesterday's victories. Celebrate them, certainly, but don't live there. The person who keeps growing understands that every accomplishment is a foundation, not a finish line. The moment you believe you've learned enough, you'll stop learning. The moment you believe you've grown enough, you'll stop growing. Life rewards those who remain students, regardless of how much success they've already achieved. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is permission to start fresh every day. Maybe yesterday wasn't your best day. Maybe you made mistakes. Maybe you broke a promise to yourself or missed an opportunity. Learn from it, but don't build your identity around it. Every sunrise gives you another chance to become the person you decided to be. The past may teach you, but it doesn't have to define you. Imagine where you'll be 1 year from now if you simply commit to becoming 1% better every day. Think about the books you'll read, the skills you'll develop, the discipline you'll build, the confidence you'll earn, and the wisdom you'll gain. The future isn't created in one dramatic moment. It's created through hundreds of ordinary days where you quietly choose improvement over excuses, discipline over comfort, and growth over complacency. So stop looking around to see how everyone else is doing. Look within. Ask yourself if you're living up to your own potential. Ask whether today's choices are leading you toward the life you truly want. Because the greatest victory you'll ever experience isn't defeating another person. It's waking up one day and realizing you've become someone your younger self would deeply admire. Become a little better every day, and one day you'll become the person you once believed was impossible. As we bring all of these ideas together, I want you to see the bigger picture. Challenging yourself every day isn't a 30-day program. It isn't a temporary burst of motivation or something you do only when life is going well. It's a way of living. It's a decision you make over and over again until it becomes part of who you are. The goal isn't to have one great day that changes your life. The goal is to build a life where greatness is created by what you choose to do every single day. When you wake up tomorrow morning, life will present you with the same choices it presents to everyone else. You'll have the choice to stay in bed a little longer or get up with purpose. You'll have the choice to complain or to be grateful. You'll have the choice to avoid responsibility or to embrace it. You'll have the choice to delay your dreams or to take one meaningful step toward them. These choices may seem small, but never underestimate them. Your future is simply the collection of the choices you make every day. People often ask what separates those who achieve extraordinary things from those who merely dream about them. The answer is rarely intelligence. It isn't luck. It isn't having the perfect background or unlimited resources. More often than not, it's the willingness to consistently do what others are unwilling to do. It's choosing discipline when distraction is easier. It's choosing growth when comfort is tempting. It's choosing courage when fear is loud. Those decisions, repeated day after day, quietly build an extraordinary life. Understand something important. Your greatest achievements won't happen because of one magical opportunity. They'll happen because you prepared yourself long before the opportunity arrived. Opportunity has an interesting habit of visiting people who are already working. While others are waiting for perfect timing, you're improving your skills. While others are making excuses, you're building habits. While others are hoping for change, you're becoming the kind of person who creates change. There will always be reasons to wait. There will always be another Monday, another month, another new year. But life doesn't reward those who wait endlessly. It rewards those who begin. The perfect time has never existed, and it never will. If you wait until you feel completely ready, you'll spend your life standing at the starting line while others move ahead through imperfect action. Don't underestimate the influence your example has on the people around you. When your family sees your discipline, they notice. When your friends see your consistency, they notice. When your children, coworkers, or neighbors watch you keep your promises even when it's difficult, they notice. You may never realize how many lives you're quietly inspiring simply by refusing to settle for less than your best. Leadership doesn't always come from standing on a stage. Sometimes it comes from living with integrity when nobody is applauding. And remember this. Success isn't only measured by money, titles, or recognition. Real success is becoming someone you respect when you look in the mirror. It's ending the day knowing you gave your best effort. It's building a life that reflects your values instead of your excuses. It's having the confidence that comes from knowing you didn't waste the gifts and opportunities you were given. One day you'll look back on your life. When that day comes, you won't remember every meeting, every ordinary morning, or every routine task. But you'll remember the moments when you chose courage over comfort. You'll remember the times you refused to quit. You'll remember the difficult decisions that shaped your character. Those moments become the story of your life, and they're created by the choices you make today. So make a commitment not to perfection, because perfection isn't required, but to progress. Commit to learning something every day. Commit to strengthening your mind every day. Commit to honoring your word every day. Commit to doing one thing that stretches your potential every day. Some days that challenge will be small. Other days it will be enormous. Either way, embrace it, because every challenge is preparing you for a future you cannot yet see. Never allow success to make you complacent, and never allow failure to make you quit. Keep your eyes on the person you're becoming. Keep raising your standards. Keep asking more of yourself than you asked yesterday. The moment you stop growing is the moment life begins to shrink. But the moment you decide that every day is another opportunity to improve, your future begins expanding in ways you never thought possible. You already possess more potential than you've expressed. You already have dreams worth pursuing, abilities worth developing, and opportunities waiting to be claimed. The only question that remains is whether you'll challenge yourself enough to uncover them. No one else can make that decision for you. No one else can build your habits, strengthen your character, or pursue your purpose. That responsibility belongs to you, and that's what makes it so powerful. The pen is already in your hand. Every decision you make writes another line in the story of your life. So leave here with a different mindset than the one you arrived with. Don't wait for life to challenge you. Challenge yourself first. Don't wait for confidence. Build it through action. Don't wait for opportunity. Prepare for it every single day. And don't wait for a better future. Start creating it with the decisions you make today. Challenge yourself every day, and you'll become the person who can achieve anything you dare to pursue.